Welcome to the show, Teddy Astin. You are an award-winning record promotion executive within the music industry, having had over 20 years in the business, changing direction of career to real estate with a focus on preserving home ownership and generational wealth in communities. You are renowned for promotion and artist development for a wide range of artists during your time at Warner Brothers, such as Madonna, Prince, Chaka Khan, Patty Austin, George Benson, and the Isley Brothers, to name only a handful of the diverse artists and genres that you've been involved with. You've received over 50 gold and platinum albums in recognition for your contribution to their success. The artists receiving nominations and awards from MTV Billboard Music Awards and the Grammys. There's so much to talk with you about, Teddy. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And please tell us more.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Tom. I want to thank you and Skyler for inviting me for the Music for Global Change show today. And also, I want to have a big shout out to Andre Pittman, who's introduced me to Music for Global Change. And I really do appreciate you guys inviting me here. And I'm really excited, especially with Skyler being here and all the things that he's done. I should be interviewing him. You know, with all the artists that he's worked with over the years, man, I'm still playing one of his songs called That's Life. Remember that, Skyler?
God. What?
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful ride. You know, like you say, all the people that I played with, but I played with somebody else.
Yeah, you know,
it wasn't my thing. I'm associated with a lot of success.
Absolutely.
But having my own success, I had to create something that I could do totally different than everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that. I mean, social conscious music has always been there, but it's never been celebrated.
Absolutely.
There's never been a platform for it. So I wanted to create a platform for music that's already been out. There's over 192 million social conscious songs were published, right?
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, if you had $10 from every one of them, we can go on vacation for the rest of our life.
You got that right, man. You know, one of my favorite platinum albums that you was a part of was on the Quincy Jones label, Tevin Camel. So congratulations. Still one of my favorite albums of all times.
Yeah, I wrote Little Brother on that album, Tevin album.
Yeah.
He was 15 years old, you know. And we were walking out to my car. He said, "Hey, man, can I drive your car?" That's how young you.
Yeah. Incredible. Great stories, man. So I'm just amazed, and I appreciate you guys having me on your show today. And I've had a great career working with people like Skyler and Quincy Jones. My 20 years at Warner Brothers Records, I was the National Director of Promotion and Marketing for Warner Brothers. I was responsible for developing, promoting, marketing, tutoring, and developing the careers of so many artists on the label, including Prince. Prince was such a success with the label. Prince was such a success with Warner Brothers. We gave him his own label, which was called Paisley Park. With Paisley Park, Prince brought us himself, Sheila E., Morris Day and the Time, and Vanity Six, the Nasty Girls. Also been associated with Quincy Jones. Quincy brought us, of course, he brought us himself, the dude. He gave us James Ingram, Patty Austin, and of course, Tevin Camel. Been associated with Sire Records, who was distributed by Warner Brothers, who brought us Madonna and Ice-T. Also being responsible for developing the careers of artists like Karen White and Albie Shore and Club Nouveau, the Force MD. I just been blessed. You know, guys, you know what they say, when you're doing what you love, it's not really a job. You know what I mean? During that 20 years I was with Warner Brothers, I wasn't working. I was doing what I love doing.
Yeah.
But now I'm working.
but just being associated, knowing that you're taking on some young talent at the time, and they're dreaming about being heroes, and you get to watch that whole thing. That must be gratifying like crazy to see the success of some of the people that you brought in.
Yes, it is gratifying, and especially, because, in the world of hip hop, there's still a great market for R&B
Yeah,
music as well as jazz. And R&B music was the best of times for music in terms of my career.
Mm.
And sometimes when I'm visiting different areas and different cities, different states, sometimes you could turn the radio on
yeah,
and you could hear 4 or 5 songs in a row that you're responsible for promoting and marketing. And it's amazing. I still get chills.
were you living in LA when that happened?
Well, basically, here's the deal. People always ask me, Teddy, how did you go from the mail room to the Warner Brothers boardroom?
Mm.
Well, it didn't start in the mail room. I started in the Warner Brothers warehouse
Right.
in the distribution center. Then I was promoted to the mail room, responsible for making sure that every radio station around the country got the format of music for their radio station. And
Right.
from that part, Warner Brothers, this is early 70s, mid 70s, 75 through 77. Warner Brothers didn't have any black music. I was part of a distribution center. The Warner Brothers corporate was 3 companies. It was called WEA, Warner, Electra, and Atlantic.
Right.
Okay? So Warner Brothers didn't have any black music. The only black artist that Warner Brothers had at the time was Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
The other artist that Warner Brothers had was country and western. They were doing great with country and western music,
Yeah.
rock and roll. However, our sister label, Atlantic Records, I mean, we're talking about in-house. Our sister label, Atlantic Records, was rolling in black music. They had Aretha Franklin, they had Donna Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Clarence Carter, Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Sister Sledge. And Warner Brothers is like, whoa, look at all this black music, how it's selling. We don't have any black music. So what they decided to do was like, look, we're going to enter the black music market. We're going to hire the best staff in the USA.
Right.
They looked around the country. I was the last person that Warner Brothers hired for the black music division. The head of black music, Tom Draper, called me and said, Teddy, we're going to be building a black music dynasty here at Warner Brothers. We're hearing such great things about you. You've done a great job in the warehouse. We've heard you've done a great job in the mailroom because program directors are calling us from all over the country saying we're finally getting the music for our format. And not only we're getting it on time and it's properly packaged. We like to have you as part of our staff because we're going to build a black music dynasty. And that was my entry into the Warner Brothers system to help promote, market the black music division. So that's why people say, well, how did you go from the mailroom to the boardroom? That's how I got there. And I was promoted to the regional promotion director for North and South Carolina. And my job was to develop the black music market for those 2 states. I was very successful at it. I gave Prince Prince's first promotional tour. I was responsible for that, bringing him into the Carolinas, doing a national promotion with him throughout the Carolinas. And once that promotional tour was over, Prince music spread it all over the country. And that was the beginning of his career. In fact, Prince thanked me on his second album, Title for You, for helping to jumpstart his career. So I had a great career, even with Bob Marley is one of my favorite artists that I did one of his best promotional parties that he's ever had. Sly Stone, I know you worked with Sly Stone at a point, Skyler. So the list just goes on and on and on. I was just fortunate, but I was always thinking ahead of everybody because I had a good friend of mine whose name was Charles Gear. I write about him in my book. Charles was working for Atlantic Records, and he used to take me out on the road with him. Before I got the job with Warner Brothers, he would take me out on the road with him. You know, we for concerts with the Spinners. Also, he was responsible for Gladys Knight recording her first single called "Every Beat of My Heart."
Yeah.
Gladys and Charles lived in the same neighborhood, so he got me off to a good start with promotion and marketing even before Warner Brothers hired me as the regional promotion director. Later, I was promoted to the national director of promotion, responsible for guiding the staff all over the country because I was so far advanced with everyone else.
So would you ever do music again?
Of course, I still do music consulting from time to time. It's a lot easier, you know, and I tell a lot of artists, it's a lot easier now because a lot of the artists these days are a lot smarter. They're
Right.
more educated. Social media helps out a lot. A lot of these new artists, I tell them, look, first thing you want to do, go to TikTok, Facebook, IG, YouTube, and all the social media outlets and try to create a following. Also, if you got good music, you don't need $50,000 to do a video like we used to have to do years ago. You could do your own video with your iPhone.
Yeah.
So, and post it on your social media account because a lot of the record labels are looking for talent on social media. So, if you got a following of 500,000, a million followers, the record labels are going to take notice of that because you're helping them help you promote themselves. So, along with that, I tell a lot of artists learn the business of the business. It ain't just about singing and dancing and doing videos. You got to know how to protect your money. You got to know about publishing. Because if you come up with a hit record and two, three other artists record that song, man, you're going to have money to live off of for generations. So you got to learn the business of the business.
Hopefully in this, environment that we're in right now, but it's definitely not run the way it used to be.
Absolutely.
See, so we created music for global change is going to be way different. You created the content, you should get paid the most.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because most of the record labels and the publishing companies, they wasn't educating the artists. They didn't say, hey, we're going to split this publishing. They would just sign a contract and sell 1 million records and they still owe the record company money. They're a lot smarter now. So that's one of the things that I advise people that come to me, that I consult from time to time. Learn the business of the business.
Right. Tom?
I just want to ask, in 2021, you published your A Golden Past and a Platinum Future memoirs. It must be pretty packed with nuggets and gems from your time in the businesses. Tell us a little bit about the process you went through as to actually getting that down on paper. Was it a particularly difficult thing to kind of cram everything into the memoir, or how long did that take to produce?
It took about 1.5 years, Tom. And the fortunate thing for me, guys, throughout the years, I saved all of my photos and I had them all digitized.
Brilliant.
And I had them all in a briefcase. Briefcase probably hadn't been opened for years. So, but I was fortunate that the photos didn't stick together. Yeah. They were still pristine. Yeah. The photos looked like they was taken yesterday. So, and once I started writing my book and looking at the photos, every photo has a story.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So when I look at the Prince photo, I can think of several different occasions and phone calls and conversations and promo tours that we had together. So when I look at Bob Marley's photo, oh man, I was responsible for the most successful promotional tour that he ever had. Wow. When I look at Sly Stone, when he came over to Warner Brothers, that was one of the most gratifying artists that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. Just going on and on throughout it, it reminded me of a lot of promotions that we did over the years, reminded me of a lot of the artist careers that we developed from time to time. Also, it reminded me about a lot of the artists that was already established, looking at the success that we were having with Warner Brothers. They wanted to come over to the label. Artists like Frankie Beverly came over to Warner Brothers. Atlantic Starr came over to Warner Brothers. Miles Davis came over to Warner Brothers. So the success that we were having at Warner Brothers, other artists were looking around and saying, look, we want to be part of that Black music dynasty too. They're doing a great job over there. So we want to be a part of that. So saving all of my photos certainly helped me write my book and create the accuracy and a timeline of the book. In that way, I was able to take my time. I was able to look at the photos. I was able to write some stories and rewrite some stories, and just got it because basically at some point I had to stop writing.
Right.
Because I had to close it out at some point because I still have other photos, enough photos for another book. But I'm very pleased with this book and the success that we're having with it because it brings back great memories.
Yeah, no, it's nothing like the travels and all of that stuff. I remember Commodores and different people like just traveling, and being young enough to travel because you can, and the music lovers you see in different countries, and
yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That got it for me, going into different countries. And I'm from Oakland, man. I used to play the whole chitlin circuit down there before all of this happened, right? But the cool thing about it is, music lovers. I think it's going to go back to live music because it has to now.
Yeah.
With amazing talent. So you've been watching talent grow for many years, right?
You're right.
You know what good talent sounds like. There's two types of music. There's music and then there's good music.
Absolutely. And there's good concerts and there's concerts.
Yeah.
The best concerts that I ever saw in my life, the best concert tour was Prince, Vanity Six, March Day and the Time, and Sheila E.
Yeah.
Man, the Purple Rain tour. That tour played in some cities 7 nights straight.
Yeah.
Sold out every night. It was equivalent to the Beyonce tour and the Taylor Swift tour right now. I mean, before all of that, Prince was the most successful touring artist in the world.
No, it was brilliant how he told Warner Brothers.
Yes.
He said, what you gonna do now? Because you got these women going crazy and stuff like dancing. He said, I'm about to do a rock album. And Warner Brothers told him, are you out of your mind? You're about to mess up the money, man. What are you doing? Right? He said, I'm about to do a rock album. That's when that happened, the whole controversy album and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
He says, I'm a musician, man. I need to play. I want to show you I can play some other music. And they turned him down.
Yeah, well, there's a long story behind it, but basically at some point, we couldn't tell Prince what to do. He told us what to do.
That's my point.
And
how crazy they were, that they tell him don't do that, and then that turned out to be bigger than all the other records.
Yeah. But you know what? Before Prince came to Warner Brothers, several record labels turned him down.
Yeah.
RSO, I'm not sure. You guys familiar with RSO record label? RSO record label had the Bee Gees, Andy and Barry Gibb. They also had an artist by the name of the Disco Duck. So, we got the Disco Duck. We don't need a Prince. But they turned Prince down. Yvonne Elliman was another artist on their label. But the album made its way over to Warner Brothers. When they brought the album to Warner Brothers, we knew what we had. I mean, when they sent me a copy of the album, I'm like, this is the freshest music that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Give me more. But, you know, at some point, you know, after Prince's second album, that's when Warner Brothers gave him his own record label called Paisley Park. And at that point, he could do whatever he wanted to do, you know? Hey, whatever artist you want to sign to the label, bring them to us. Whatever albums you want to record, do it. Just give it to us.
Before you go, I have to ask you about your feelings about social conscious music. And
Yes.
because what we're going to do is create a lot of artists that play social conscious music and put them on festivals, right?
Yes.
Especially good news music, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Has nothing to do with yourself. It's how we're going to heal, educate, and solve problems, right?
Yes.
And so that's what we do. I said, man, you got 192 million songs. Somebody likes social conscious music.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go after them. You know what I mean? Let's go after that market.
I'm a lover of music. I like country and western. I like hip hop. I like R&B. I like hard rock. I like a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? I'm just to have that versatility to kind of know what's trending, what's not trending. Absolutely. Also, what I like and what I don't like. It's not any format of music that I like or dislike. It's the music that I judge, you know?
Hey, you know what? I love music. It's like you were saying earlier. If you fall in love with it,
yes,
that's it.
You got to fall in love with it. Now, I bet my mom, my grandmother, my auntie were all singers. So I was around that all my life when I was a baby, right? And
yeah.
You get used to it, and they start teaching you little harmony parts, and you.
Yeah, and back then the harmony, a lot of the harmony back then was gospel.
That's
well,
true.
yeah, well,
you know, what I like as well.
Well, it's human music, right?
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. The kids today, they don't know human music, and it's gonna be our fault if we don't introduce them to some amazing human beings playing instruments. That's a different feeling than your computer.
Well, you know, these days they got so many choices of ways to listen to music with all the streaming channels, you know, and also like when we were coming up, you know, if someone put out an album, we go out and buy the album, but if we didn't like but one or two songs on the album, you feel a little disappointed, regardless of who the artist was. But now, if an artist put out an album, they can go online and just buy only the songs that they like.
Like that's the best part right there that you just said. Is like they can put up 30 songs, and you go in there. I'm gonna pick these 10.
Yeah. Like just say for instance, the Isley Brothers. That's one of my favorite groups of all time.
Right.
They must have at least 200 songs. But I can go online. I'll go online, and when I look at the Isley Brothers, I may pick out 25 of the greatest of all time. But that's the choice that I have now that I didn't have back in the day. And that's what technology has brought us.
Well, Brother Teddy, thank you so much for coming on our show, taking the time, brother.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. And let me show you guys a copy of my book.
Oh, yeah.
It's entitled A Golden Past and a Platinum Future. I'd like for you to go to my website, www.toughfact.net, TOUGHACT.net.
Are you available on any other kind of social media platforms that people can interact with what you're doing? Obviously, got your website there, but are you on any kind of Instagram, that kind of thing?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube are my favorite. Thank you, guys.
Okay, you too, man. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
Okay.
Save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.